Welcome back. This is a tougher video. I know a couple of people who recently have either looked at or have gone through the car repossession process. And I was in the credit industry for a number of years, well over a decade. We worked on thousands of loans, and we would see these because we were in the subprime industry. We would see these on occasion. And what I find is not everyone understands what happens when you go through a repossession of a car. So I wanted to do some quick coverage on that, talking about what happens, how it looks to creditors, and how you can minimize the effect on you. So first of all, what happens? Generally, a vehicle lender, unless they're a high-risk lender, they're not going to repossess your car for 90 days plus, maybe 120 days after you have not made payments. They will generally work with people to a certain extent if you communicate with them before you go into default. Meaning if you're having trouble, if the car's not working, if there's some other challenges. But at the end of the day, they have a process they have to manage as well. And they're going to look at getting rid of the bad debt as soon as they can so it doesn't sit on their books. When you're a car lender, the longer a car is in default, generally speaking, the worse condition that car is going to be in when it comes back to you. And you're going to have outstanding interest, fees, penalties, etc. that you'll never get paid back on. So they're going to work on this fairly proactively on getting rid of the late payments and getting rid of the bad collateral. And the collateral is the car, of course. So here's what you're going to see if you're going through a repossession scenario. So number one, you're going to have credit score damage. It is going to hurt your credit, and it's going to hurt your credit bad, because this is a secured debt. Generally, the risk layers, the risk pool of debt is you have your unsecured debt, then you have your personally guaranteed debt, then you have collateralized debt. So your unsecured is going to be credit cards where it's just out there. They're giving you a loan, a revolving loan based on your history, that you hopefully will pay them back. That's the first step. Then you get into the personal loans where it's really not much different, but it's usually a fixed loan over time. It's not revolving, so it's a little bit lower risk. Then you get into the secured loans that have an asset backing them. This could be a car loan, a home loan, etc. But car loans are higher risk than home loans. Home loans have a real estate backing. They're in a fixed location. People know where they are. A car loan, however, is just that. It's based on a depreciating asset that is, generally speaking, not going to improve in value. It's going to only go down in value. And historically speaking, people who are in default on their car loans don't treat their cars very well. They generally trash them. That's why repossessions are usually known as being cars that are sold at a lower value because they're worth less. Now, can they be fixed up? Maybe, but generally speaking, from a lender perspective, they're not. So you will have credit score damage. It will hurt you, and it'll hurt you for 7 years, generally speaking. Here's something a lot of people don't know about, though. There's usually a deficiency balance. Because, again, cars are depreciating items. People will call them depreciating assets. They're not really an asset unless they're generating you money. So a depreciating asset or a depreciating item is going to go down in value every single month. In fact, when you buy a new car, I think the stat is they go down by 20% as soon as you buy them. So even if you put money down on the car, the value is going down every month. And if you are not making payments, you're going to have a declining value, and you're going to have an increasing balance on your loan because you're having interest added to that loan every single month you don't make a payment. So you will have a deficiency balance, and in a lot of cases, if the lender is not able to sell your car for enough to cover your loan, they're going to come after you for the deficiency. How that looks? Well, they're going to take you to court, they will get a judgment, and they will start garnishing your wages. Or if you own a home or other assets, they may put a lien on those other assets. They may put a lien on your bank account and start pulling money out of your bank account. So understand that this is a very possible solution or result of a car repossession. If you don't pay it right away, they will send you to collections. I have seen a number of situations where there's the credit score damage, there's a deficiency balance, that gets reported to the credit report, then the deficiency balance is sold off to a collection agency and they get hit with another delinquent account, another trade line that shows the same thing. Now, the creditors can track it, but the systems a lot of times are not sophisticated enough to not impact your credit score on multiple situations. So be aware that these are all options that could happen if you have a car repo. Now, there's two types of repos. There's a voluntary repo and there's an involuntary repossession. Why would you consider a voluntary repossession? Well, in my mind, the number one that you can do is because it gives you an opportunity to negotiate with your lender. You may be able to offset things like the deficiency balance. You may be able to get, if there is a huge deficiency balance, such as I knew someone who had a car repossessed that didn't run. When they sell that car, they will never recover the loan balance and they're going to come after that person for the balance. But that person taking a proactive approach may be able to negotiate the deficiency balance. Had they been able to get in front of it and fix that car, they would have been able to potentially sell it and avoid some of the other problems. But the other thing is they may be able to negotiate this with the bank, explain the situation, and then work out a balance and a payment plan so that you skip the collection activities. Anytime something goes to collections, there's going to be additional fees, costs, charges, interest rates, all sorts of things that you want to avoid if you can. Other things that you may be able to consider in a voluntary repossession is you're not having to pay for the tow truck to come out if you're able to drive the car to them. That's a cost, and it will add hundreds of dollars to that repossession charge if you're able to do it. It may have a slightly better credit impact. Your lender may report as a voluntary repossession or a voluntary surrender as opposed to a standard repossession, which shows creditors that you are willing to work with them. It's not great, but anything in this situation can be a little bit better. The control over the process actually can be a good thing where you know when you're going to be giving up the car, as opposed to if you've watched any of the videos about repossessors on YouTube, you would see that sometimes people get cars repossessed at work, at restaurants, at the car wash. Having a little bit of control over that process definitely makes it a difference. So those are just some certain items that I want people to be aware of if you do get into the situation of having a car or any asset repossessed or any item that may have a loan on it, any collateral repossessed. Be aware that there are implications beyond just losing the use of the car or the item. I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, give us a like down below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you know someone who may benefit from this, please do consider sharing this with them. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one.